adolescent pregnancy prevention and sexual risk avoidance, child care, child support enforcement, Head Start, health profession opportunity grant, healthy marriage and responsible fatherhood, home visiting, and welfare and family self-sufficiency. Explore other snapshots and the full agenda greater than. ACF seeks to improve the safety, permanency, and well-being of children through leadership, support for necessary services, and productive partnerships with states, tribes, and communities. ACF Children's Bureau has the primary responsibility for administering federal programs that support state child welfare services. ACF provides matching federal funds to states, tribes, and communities to help them operate every aspect of their child welfare (CW) systems. This includes the prevention of child abuse and neglect, the support of permanent placements through adoption and subsidized guardianship, and the creation and maintenance of information systems necessary to support these programs. In fiscal year 2019, ACF had a budget of approximately $9 billion to administer entitlement, formula, and discretionary grants. The authorities to carry out federal, state, and tribal child welfare programs include, but are not limited to, Title IV foster care, Title IV adoption assistance. Share to Twitter, share to LinkedIn. Or add the share options. Number of shares, Facebook, Twitter.
Sorry about the delay.
Title IV foster care, Title IV adoption assistance, Title IV guardianship assistance, tribal participation in Title IV, Title IV plan development grants, child welfare Title IV demonstration projects, John H. Chaffee foster care program for successful transition to adulthood, Stephanie Tubbs Jones child welfare services program Title IVV, Subpart 1 of the Social Security Act. Promoting Safe and Stable Families, Title IVV, Subpart 2 of the Social Security Act. Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, CAPTA, State Grants. Community-Based Grants for the Prevention of Child Abuse and Neglect, CBCAP. Children's Justice Act, Court Improvement Program.
Court Improvement Program, it's called. Yeah, it's fucking called Court Improvement Program.
Current legislation and appropriations support the following child welfare discretionary grant program areas. Adoption opportunities, Child Welfare Training, Child Abuse and Prevention Act Research Demonstration Project. Promoting Safe and Stable Families PSSF program. Regional Partnership Grants, RPG, Family Connections Grants. ACF supports a number of research and evaluation activities as well as learning from a broad array of other activities relevant to child welfare such as performance management, technical assistance, stakeholder engagement, site monitoring, developing systems to oversee and use data, and continuous quality improvement. ACF also analyzes and reports information on administrative data such as the National Child Abuse and Neglect Data System, NCANDS, Adoption and Foster Care Analysis and Reporting System, AFCARS, and National Youth and Transition Database, NYTD. ACF's Government Performance and Results Act, GPRA, performance measures related to child welfare. Decrease the percentage of children with substantiated or indicated reports of maltreatment that have a repeated substantiated or indicated report of maltreatment within 6 months. Performance Measure 7B, CAPTAP 148.
Listen to these
Improve
numbers.
states' average response time between maltreatment report and investigation based
goals.
on the median of states' reported average response time in hours from screened in reports to the initiation of the investigation. Performance Measure 7C, CAPTAP 148.
Their goals are to increase child removal. That's their goal.
Decrease the rate of first-time victims per 1,000 children. Performance Measure 7A, CBCAPP 157. Increase the percentage of community-based child abuse prevention. CBCAP total funding that supports evidence-based and evidence-informed child abuse prevention programs and practices. Performance Measure 7D, CBCAPP 158. For those children who have been in care less than 12 months, maintain the percentage that has no more than 2 placement settings. Performance Measure 7Q, Child Welfare Services, P 164. Decrease the percent of foster children in care 12 or more months with no case plan goal, including case plan goal, not yet determined. Performance Measure 7R, Child Welfare Services, PSSF Foster Care, P 164. Increase the adoption rate. Performance Measure 7T and 7.8 LT Foster Care, Adoption Opportunities, Adoption and Legal Guardianship Incentives, Adoption Assistance, P 173 and P 314. Decrease the gap between the percentage of children 9 and older waiting to be adopted and those actually adopted. Performance Measure 7U, Adoption and Legal Guardianship Incentive Payment Program, P 177.
But it's
Of all children
actually
who exit foster care in less than 24 months, maintain the percentage who exit to permanency, reunification, living with relative, guardianship, or adoption. Performance Measure 7P1, PSSF Guardianship Assistance, P 284. Of all children who exit foster care after 24 or more months, maintain the percentage who exit to permanency, reunification, living with relative, guardianship, or adoption. Performance Measure 7P2 PSSF Guardianship Assistance, P 284. Decrease improper payments in the Title IVE foster care program by lowering the national error rate. Performance Measure 7S Foster Care, P 313. Increase or maintain the percentage of youth currently or formerly in foster care who report in the National Youth and Transition Database, NYTD, survey having a connection to at least one adult to whom they can go for advice or emotional support. Performance Measure 7W Chaffee, P 315. Increase the percentage of youth currently or formerly in foster care who report in the NYTD survey having at least a high school diploma or GED. Performance Measure 7X Chaffee, P 315. Promote efficient use of CFCIP funds by increasing the number of jurisdictions that completely expend their allocations within the 2-year expenditure period. Performance Measure 7Y1 Chaffee, P 316.
Spend the money.
Promote efficient use of CFCIP funds by decreasing the total amount of funds that remain unexpended by states at the end of the prescribed period.
They're saying spend the $9 billion faster. I just about died right there. That's me moaning. My heart just about stopped. That's one of the pages they wouldn't let me print. I think the paper.
We're recording and we're recording. So you see that going, it's recording. If it's not, it's not. So
Rights class actions. 2. 7. Class actions may be the only way to prove a pattern or practice of discrimination. Notes LDF, without a broad discovery of company-wide statistical and other data that class actions facilitate, it is difficult for civil rights plaintiffs to prove a pervasive pattern in
Okay, that's
practice
right.
of discrimination. 4.
I can't remember.
Civil rights class actions, a singularly effective tool to
I
combat
think this is it. Wait. think. There's one where they talk about the courts. How they are going to manipulate the courts.
For children in foster care, adoption and guardianship represent two important permanency outcomes. However, a finalized adoption or guardianship relationship does not necessarily indicate that a child will experience long-term stability or have a permanent home. The prevalence of post-permanency instability for children or youth who have exited foster care through an adoption or placement with a legal guardian remains uncertain. In addition, very little is known about the risk and protective factors for instability after a finalized adoption or guardianship arrangement. The purpose of the Understanding Post-Adoption and Guardianship Instability for Children and Youth Who Exit Foster Care project is to better understand post-permanency instability for children and youth who exit foster care through adoption or guardianship. Specifically, this project will 1. Assess the knowledge base related to post-adoption and guardianship instability, including what is known about rates of instability, risk factors that may make certain children more vulnerable to instability, protective factors that may buffer children from the likelihood of instability, as well as services and supports for adoptive guardianship children and families. 2. Identify current federal, state, and local program policies and practices related to the post-permanency experience of children and youth who exit foster care through adoption or guardianship. 3. Develop design options for a group of studies that would leverage existing local, state, and national data as well as collect new data when necessary to obtain information on post-adoption and guardianship instability rates, services, and risk and protective factors associated with instability. 4. Take steps to implement one or more of the proposed studies. 5. Develop resources that will build the capacity of agencies at the federal, state, and/or local level to collect ongoing information about post-adoption and guardianship instability and its correlates. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Add this. 4. 5. Develop resources that will build the capacity of agencies at the federal, state, and/or local level to collect ongoing information about post-adoption and guardianship instability and its correlates. The contract for this project was awarded to RTI International with subcontracts to the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and Mathematica Policy Research. The points of contact are Amanda Clincy Coleman and Molly Jones.
I think that one's done. Let's see here. I'm not sure. I was tired. I think it's this one.
Candace Edwards.
No, that ain't it. It's this one. No, that ain't it. Let me see here. Fuck.
Doria sent today at 6:57 p.m. When I was a child.
Let me see this one. I gotta get my shit together. I forget to organize and stuff. And there's one of these I taped. Never mind. Oh, here it is. This one might be one right here. This is.
What I wanted to add to that is, you know, if back in 1997 or whatever by professional testimony they decided that 15% of the total child population of our country would be the target because that was the expected number of children in our population that are abused based on historical data, then I understand 15%.
Here.
Data, e.g., national data sets, state licensing administrative data, and may include studies that require new data to be collected. The products resulting from this project are designed to inform efforts by states, territories, and the federal government in evaluating and strengthening ECE licensing systems. What are the essential features and drivers of quality in HBCC, and how should these features be measured? What factors support or inhibit HBCC provider participation in quality improvement efforts in early care and education systems? The study team will address these questions by reviewing existing literature, quality measures and indices, and data sets relevant to HBCC, developing a conceptual framework on quality in HBCC, analyzing existing data on HBCC provider characteristics and experiences, developing a research agenda and design reports to guide future research. Potential additional activities include collecting original data and developing a new measure of HBCC quality. The Child Care Research and Evaluation Capacity Building Center will assess and build the research and evaluation capacities of state, territory, and tribal CCDF-led agencies. The center will engage with stakeholders in planning activities and developing strategies. The CEN-TARE will also focus on supporting individual and organizational research and evaluation capacity to create sustained change that lasts beyond the turnover of individual staff and the changing policies and priorities of federal and state policymakers. The project is led by Urban Institute. Teresa Derrick Mills is principal investigator, with a subcontract to Mathematica Policy Research. Gretchen Kirby is co-pi. Child care, raising quality and supporting parental
lawmakers.
17. Spotlight on Child Care and Development Fund CCDF Policies Database. The CCDF Policies Database is a source of information on the detailed policies used to operate child care subsidy programs under the Child Care and Development Fund (CCDF). Since 2008, the CCDF Policies Database has collected, coded, and disseminated CCDF policies for all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and U.S. territories and outlying areas. The information in the database is based primarily on the documents that caseworkers use as they work with families and providers, as well as the CCDF plans and amendments submitted by states, territories to ACF, state law, and regulations used by the staff operating the program. The database captures detailed information on eligibility, family payments, application procedures, and provider-related policies, including dates of enactment and some of the policy variations that exist within states, territories. The project disseminates information in different forms to meet the needs of various users, quantitative and qualitative researchers, policymakers, and administrators at all levels of government.
This is
On the project's
organizing
website,
the country.
https://ccdf.urban.org/ users can search the full database and download custom datasets. The website also provides access to all data documentation, project reports, and other resources. The project's most recent annual report is Key Cross State Variations in CCDF Policies as of October 1st, 2018. The CCDF Policies Database Book of Tables. Each annual report also presents policy changes since the previous year, as well as changes in select policies over the previous 5 years. From the most recent report, highlights of policy changes from 2014 to 2018 include 28 states, territories made changes to their policies regarding eligibility during periods of job search, with most of the changes occurring between 2016 and 2017. 36 states, territories made changes to their redetermination periods between 2014 and 2018, with most of the changes occurring between 2015 and 2016 when several states, territories extended their redetermination periods from 6 to 12 months. 25 states, territories changed the monthly copayment amounts for a family of 3 earning $15,000. Most of these changes were reductions in the copayment amounts. The project also periodically produces policy briefs and other short reports. In conjunction with the annual report, the project released a brief providing a graphical overview of some of the CCDF policy differences across states, territories as of October 1st, 2018, child care subsidies under the CCDF program, an overview of policy differences across states and territories as of October 1st, 2018, as well as fact sheets that demonstrate how to use the database search tool and provide examples of policies available from the database. This project is led by Urban Institute. Sarah Minton is project director. Child care, raising quality and supporting parental employment. Page 18. In 2014, ACF's Family and Youth Services Bureau, FYSB, awarded 3 grants to carry out demonstration projects to provide coordinated case management and comprehensive direct victim assistance to domestic victims of severe forms of human trafficking. In 2015, FYSB awarded 3 additional demonstration project grants. The intent of the grant program is to improve organizational and community capacity to deliver trauma-informed, culturally relevant services for domestic victims of human trafficking. The grantees are expected to build and sustain coordinated SYS teams of agency services and partnerships with allied professionals and community-based organizations, such as runaway and homeless youth, domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking victim services programs.
Okay, we did that one. We did that one, right?
And Lord, I'm praying tonight, Lord, for Taylor, Lord, hallelujah, Jesus. Lord, that he be returned to his father, Lord,
It'd probably be this one then, right?
Lord, you know every situation, Lord.
Maybe this one?
Chili folder. Remove watch.html from list. My recording will wait completed. Log from EXENSION://HGKIT
You're
-324C-324C-4428-878-448-878-4
gonna have to slow the video down, I guess. If you guys wanna.
Remove my record.
Let's see, this fast one.
//www. You must remain vigilant in.
This is page 52641.
No.
Chili folder. Remove watch.html from list. //www.
No.
Business verification postcard code in all 50 states. Google Maps. Timestamps would allow verification to stand if never moved more than 60-mile radius. What this would do is allow Google Maps to track through Google Alerts and G tags, GMyBits, Gmaps 000 introduction to social media in Google My Business 1.20 inclination of adding social media to Google My Business. We can impede, resist, support.
17 minutes. I don't know what that one is. What's going on here? Play.
Yeah, we just got here, grabbed my stuff, grabbed some bait, and we was about to start casting out, and then I look behind me, and you guys are all here. You understand?
Together. Really good work. No doubt. Together.
I'm a victim in the police reports. I have an open police investigation of child endangerment. They just don't even mention it.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this one?
5:04 a.m. shared with public. Public actions for this post. Recited. Our strength to fight our government is tiresome, but also brave. At the same time, we are needed here to be present and resist the weight of our own burdens from breaking us down. We can't even consider breaking down. Cause will be your job. You need to inform the masses, convince the public of their ignorance, lead the blind, calm their fears, and stamp out the hatefulness that grows from the pain that our government is weaponizing and using to deceive and confuse good people who better to tell our truths.
Oh, right here. Here it is.
Research and evaluation agenda covers research and evaluation activities and plans in child welfare, as well as all 8 other ACF program areas: adolescent pregnancy prevention and sexual risk avoidance, child care, child support.
Okay, I gotta go. one that says, maybe it's in the paperwork. There's one that talks about the court program it talked about. The court study program. I'll get back with you.